So a big warning and a little bit of a PSA, you might actually not on second thought want to get your Wii U and 3DS games digitally on the eShop, but instead, if at all possible, get them physically. I'm going to explain why exactly in this video, so be sure to watch it through the end because this is something that could end up pretty disastrous in the long run, if these reports are to come to fruition, if you will. So welcome back, my friends, to another video here on the channel. If you guys are new around here, we do a variety of Nintendo-based content, so do me a favor, if you guys enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe and leave this video a like. It greatly helps out the channel. If you don't like it, it's completely fine, but do let me know what you don't like so I can improve the content in the future. So we got reports coming in regarding the Wii U and 3DS eShop, and if you don't know what's going on, basically they're going to be closing down. You're not going to be able to purchase any new kind of things on the eShop come March 2023, but they had said that you could still re-download, the content that you have purchased and that you do own, digital content. But now the question's coming up, what about the fact that, eventually the servers are going to shut down, right? What about, how long are we actually going to be able to download this content? They said, sure, you're going to be able to pass March 2023, but there's a report coming in from Nintendo Life, and it's a very interesting one at that. So I'm going to throw up the first part up on screen. You guys can check it out. So it says, NCL has been waiting for this day since 2014. Former NOA employee talks Nintendo eShop closures. Full server shutdowns could be coming sooner than you think too. So apparently this is a former NOA employee who I guess obviously remained anonymous, and you would assume Nintendo Life being a credible platform, if you will, a credible source in and of itself for Nintendo news, that they probably double checked to make sure that this was all completely accurate. This person actually did work for Nintendo. So I'll throw the next part up on screen and you can see what they're going on talking about, and they're basically saying how Nintendo knows it has to support a product for a minimum of 10 years or they risk some class action, which is what the former Nintendo of America employee told Nintendo Life. The source, who wishes to remain anonymous, says that Nintendo has been eyeing this shutdown for a long time now, and that 10-year cutoff 10-year cutoff comes in November 2022, which is going to be a decade on from the Wii U's launch. Now, internally, Nintendo Co. Limited has been waiting for that day since 2014 based on sales. Of course, the Wii U didn't do good. The sales for the console, the software sales, it's just as a whole, the platform was not very good. It failed, kind of in the grand scheme of things and whatnot. So Nintendo looks basically at the first 2 years as the indicator of when to start packing it in with the console. So that's, the kind of look in the long run based on the first 2 years. So it basically goes on to say that, Nintendo's failure to, demonstrate the benefits and value of the gamepad controller's asymmetrical gameplay, or to successfully differentiate the console from its predecessor in the eyes of the wider public, who had been a key part of Wii's popularity, resulted in a lackluster sales from the beginning, obviously. So by 2014, it was clear that the concept simply didn't, strike a chord with the mainstream audience, and basically, was failing in and of itself. So going on in the article, they actually go on to say that, asked about the full end-of-life process and how long the ability to re-download previous purchases may stay in place for 3DS and Wii U, their source seems less than optimistic about that timescale compared to Nintendo's official line, which they said for the foreseeable future, they predict a total shutdown of services within just a couple of years. They said that they will give notice in 2023 that the server will be shut down after a time, whatever time that is, and they said after this time, the suggestion is that the online play, re-downloads of purchased content, and everything else will disappear entirely. Okay, so what this means, my friends, is that people will lose, will 100% lose their games if something happens to their Wii U or the drive that they have their games on. So that's not a good thing at all. Again, let me rephrase that one quote one more time. If anything happens to your Wii U that you have your games on, and or the hard drive, you have to get a new Wii U, replace the hard drive, whatever, you will lose all of your digital content. So right now we were talking about, make sure you guys go and grab these eShop games while you can, purchase as much as you can. But at the same time, we don't know how long these servers are going to be up, right? Yes, sure, the eShop, ability to purchase games is closing in March 2023, but after that, how long are we really going to be able to have? Because, I mean, come on, think about what's being said here, right? Now, there's two sides to this. Number one is, of course, like I said, Nintendo Life, you would assume that they would check their sources. Nintendo Life is credible in and of themselves. So I would assume that, they wouldn't report on this unless they felt there was some accuracy to it. And number two is the fact that everything that's being said from this apparent former NOA employee makes sense, right? Nintendo, the failure of the Wii U, why would Nintendo want to continue to support that platform and keep the servers up, even just for, re-downloading content for much longer? I don't see that they will, even though they said the foreseeable future. I mean, that could still fit into like a year, 2 years, you know what I mean? Like, we might not have that long. By 2025, which is just like 3 years away, all the services could be closed. And after that point, what happens then? You cannot re-download your games. Anything happens, I mean, you better have your games downloaded and seal that hard drive in some kind of special cocoon that protects it for eternity, because if anything happens to it, you lose all your digital games. So that's why I'm saying right now, on second thought, you may not want to actually go ahead and quickly buy up all these digital games, because there's a good probability that in the nearer future than we maybe think, all the servers are going to shut down and we won't be able to re-download our content. Nintendo's saying after March 2023, we still will be able to for a period of time, foreseeable future, they say. But that could come quick, you know what I mean? About a year, 2 years afterwards, everything shuts down, you're in a pickle. So I would say at this point, take the risk if you want to, but at the end of the day, I would highly suggest and recommend trying to get physical games as much as possible. I typically don't like digital games because of these kind of issues, right? Because of these potentials, right? Physical games, you got them for eternity. We look at the NES, the Super NES, some of the first consoles to ever come out, we still have the physical versions. Now imagine if those consoles had digital counterparts, right? Or not counterparts, but I guess parallels, or I don't know the word I'm looking for, but imagine those consoles had digital versions of those games, right? Fast forward 20 years from now, your digital games are worthless. They're worthless. So I would say if you can, get the physical versions of as many of these games as possible. Try to avoid getting digital games, because if this report is to be believed and true, then when the time comes, which could be sooner than later, all these games you either own already and maybe are starting to buy up right now is going to go down the drain, and you're going to be in a bad position. So to take this as a warning, you do whatever you want, my friends. Let me know if you guys still plan to purchase any digital content from the eShop still before its closure, or if this has you rethinking everything. Also share it with your friends so we can tell and warn as many people as possible about this possibility. Sure, it's not 100% concrete, but I mean, at some point, it's a given. Nintendo's not going to support these servers forever and ever either way. So, it could come sooner than later. It might be even a few more years. Either way, it's something to think about and consider. So, let your friends know, share this video with them or whatever, and, just be wary of that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Another one. Stick around for more Nintendo-based content. For non-Nintendo gaming, you can check out youtube.com/JSkeleton, and all the social links and all that in the description below as well. I'll see you guys soon. Another one. Tell them your friends. Game on. Thanks for watching.